Peekaboo. Hey, Emily. And hey, everybody else in the world that is not my former abuser. Peace. Peace and love, everyone. I'm happy to report that I'm not as angry as maybe one might expect me to be after having all my work destroyed yet again. But I realize it's a pattern. It's a pattern for me. And I'm totally in control now for the first time in my life, ever. At this stage of my life. It's basically the autumn of my fucking life, y'all. Really. And I'm finally in control and it feels so good. Um, the uh the May 17th, the deletion of all the beautiful work that I had worked so diligently on and so faithfully on. Um, that moment of seeing it, I was right there watching it, and I think that Brandon Cece and Daisha Figueroa were right there too with me, watching it as it happened. The digital homicide, the digital infanticide. Um, this is a feeling that my late great comedy idol Norm Macdonald described after throwing away something like $150,000 cash into the Atlantic Ocean just outside of Atlantic City, New Jersey. He described it as being so cleansing because it was part of an addiction. And so I just feel like all of it is part of this beautiful cleansing. And Emily, I want to talk to you about one of the deleted works, Paranoia Hormones. You said that you wanted me to be more like that. Because I think that you wanted me to be a person that was believing your lies, Emily. You said this might be a shitty thing for me to say, and I said a shitty thing to say to me. You said, "Yeah, oh, I've been real stable." Okay, we kind of had a moment, and later I said, "Dissociation doesn't equate to emotional stability or emotional intelligence or emotional awareness, being in touch with your emotional self." I'm going to go even further than that and say, I'm going to make cases that you have not been stable. You have not been stable in your relationships. You have not been stable in your financial life. You have not been stable in your work life. I have. In Normal Sister Fun World, last December, about 6 months ago, I was going through a divorce and regaining custody of my child after having my child kidnapped from me, going through that trauma of having my child kidnapped from me and like a restraining order, like my access to my child being restricted. I had like a kind of a new romantic interest and like a new really, and I was navigating that like pretty well, like sort of a budding new kind of romance, which was exciting and fun, being really real with that. Working on that big project for my baby and also transcribing all this work on Normal Sister Fun World. I realized I did outlines, I did transcription, I did so much work on Normal Sister Fun World, even through all everything else that was going on in my life. And you did not. So how is that? That's instability. That's an example of instability right there. Our whole interaction with Normal Sister Fun World is instability. So I'm going to say no. You haven't been stable. You haven't been stable emotionally. I don't even know what your day-to-day life really looks like. You keep me out. But the closer I get, the more I see. You call yourself a functioning alcoholic, but there's no such thing. You're dysfunctional as fuck. You're just lying. You're just lying, and you want me to believe your lie. You're paranoid about me revealing the big secret that you're mentally ill and it's really debilitated you and your whole life and your whole everything about you. And you're obsessed with me and my mental health and what it's doing, how it's impacting my life. But Don't you see? Don't you see that you're wasting your whole life being obsessed with me? As I'm kind of soaring, I've got years of work experience. I was a top sales agent. I broke a record. I broke the record in commissions in the entire history of the organization Hotels.com. It was a 17-year-old organization. I broke the record in commissions as a sales agent my first 3 months of employment there. And I mean, I was an essential part. I'm one of the reasons that they were able to sell for such a high number when they sold to Priceline. And I know this. So that's me. So, I think I've got a foothold when I go for a career. I also want to mention that through Normal Sister Fun World, I totally studied for life and health and property insurance in the state of Texas, and I was passing, the practice tests. That's a lot. It's basically a college. It's like a college degree, all of that information. So I was doing all that. And like what have you done? You're like 18 months maybe collectively as a substitute teacher and you like get wasted and drunk with your students and like you worked at Lowe's and like you worked at like a window place for like 6 months and like everything falls apart for you. So how is that stability, honey? I'm just saying. Spell broken. Okay, this is my just like my daily little release of the bullshit world. That's what's going on with me, my healing journey. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Merci beaucoup, and I will see you later. I'm gonna go live and I'm gonna sing my little heart out. I know why the caged bird sings, y'all. Peace and unconditional divine love, eternally. Except for abusers. They don't get it. Au revoir. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir, mon amour.